Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Operation A5 podcast. Today, I'm here with the boys. We have an amazing guest. We have the awesome Coach Geo Valdez.
Return guest?
Yes, return guest. Our second recurring guest.
Yes.
That's it. We're breaking records out here.
That's right. we're taking rings out here.
Yes, exactly. So, and today, short and sweet. I think we're going to go ahead and answer a few questions that, we feel would be good to touch on. I think the main theme of them is going to be like men and women and their relationship spiritually in the church and leadership. Yep. So, we're going to get some good value out of these two amazing men here. I'm still a rookie when it comes to being married. You guys have a lot more years under the belt. So I'm going to be learning a lot in this episode. But do you want me to go ahead and ask the first question? Yeah. All right, so let's do it. All right, so first question is, what are the qualities of a godly man that help attract godly women, and how can men practically embody those traits every day? You want to kick it off, Gio?
Jesus. That woman is ready to get married right now.
Right off the rip.
So what I've experienced and what I've seen is that women love a man that has influence. Mm-hmm. What I've noticed about that is growing up in church, right? So usually one of my best friends, he's a pastor. Yeah. And back in the day, we didn't have, in our church, we didn't have a lot of like girls that it was like 8 guys to every girl.
Right.
So whenever a girl would walk through the doors, it's like, oh, I got dibs.
Yeah.
And no matter what, he would always get the girl's attention. And it's because he had influence. He had that, just that, we can say aura or whatever.
Or like charisma.
Charisma, he's on the platform. Yeah. So women like a man that is influential, that knows what he wants from his life. And that's something that I would say that I've picked up on, but also my wife has told me that. Like, I want a guy that has initiative, that has the drive, that has, that's an influential guy that can, meet people, be a mover and shaker, can network, that kind of thing. So I know that's something that you could definitely use for the kingdom as well.
Right.
And that can be very attractive.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not a woman.
Right.
But these are things that the women that I know in my life have said and that I hear women say all the time.
Yeah. I think for me, obviously influence, I mean, we always talk about that the platform has, or the platform is attractive, and all that. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just a level of the anointing is attractive, right? So I think that for sure. I know also for what a lot of women, I won't speak for all women, but I know my wife particularly, they're looking for a sense of protection.
Yeah.
They want to feel like, everything's going to be okay. And with that, it's confidence in a man, that the man has some level of confidence, Mm-hmm. I don't think it has to be cocky. I think that's what the world will tell you to be. You have to be this cocky person. Mm-hmm. But I think, in a godly world, it's just knowing who you are and whose you are and owning that. I think confidence is knowing when I need help, because my wife knows I'm not going to let us fail. Mm-hmm. Because if I don't know, I'm going to go ask somebody who does know. I'm not too proud to be like, I don't need help in this area, right? So I think confidence in yourself, confidence. I always say my best strengths is I know how dumb I am, right? Because I know what I need help in, right? Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't, right? And they know what they're good at, but I know what I'm not good at because I want to surround myself by people that can help me. And I think that's a big strength. I think there's a confidence in that, right? Because I'm confident in things I know. And I'm also confident these are the things I don't know. And I need some help in that. So I think women, I just think this is how we built. There's a comfort of knowing that I have a strong, confident man in the house, and it doesn't have to be physically strong. We're not going out there and, tackling wolves and all that to survive, right? But that we're carrying the house, right? We truly believe that, I believe, and I'm sure you guys do too, obviously, that we are the head of the household, and there's a confidence in that, right? So I think confidence is a big thing. Knowing who you are.
You know what's funny though? Women get a bad rap about the whole gold digger thing.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he has money, so I'm going to date him. Mm-hmm. I'm going to defend the ladies because there's some gold diggers out there. We all know it. I hope none of you are watching.
But, or you are and you'll learn.
Maybe you'll learn. But I think part of that goes into like the whole thing, oh, I want to be with someone that's financially secure. I think that goes with two things, right? That's a form of protection.
Right.
You're protecting me.
Yeah.
Right. And also that goes with the influence as well.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, so I don't think the fact that money attracts, yes, it does. But I think it's more a factor of I'm going to be protected.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this person is going to be, making moves, helping me out, growing me.
Right.
That this is a man that I can be led by.
Right. I mean, there's comfort in that. There's a stability, right? It's like I said, there's a confidence knowing that, he has money, right? And he's going to make sure that we don't fall, and I think that's important. I mean, I think what you said is true. I mean, I do think there are gold diggers out there, but also like it makes sense, like I want somebody that I know that I'm not going to have to worry about where my next meal comes from because they're a hardworking person and they're going to provide for me. So I know there's a lot of young boys in the church who are like, I want to meet my girl. Right, I want to meet, and we've dealt with this. I know many times. I want to meet my girl. Okay, what are you doing for work? Oh, I'm not working.
I got to go fund me to, can I tell a quick story about?
Please,
bro.
Please, let's talk about it.
All right, let's get into it, man. So this. I love this kid. He's not a kid anymore. He's probably in his late 20s now. But years ago, he came up to me. He's like, yo, I know they're selling this shirt at church. I want to buy it, but I can't afford it. I'm like, all right, like. It was $20. I'm like, I got you. So okay, whatever. I bought this shirt. Months later, there's like an event going on that he had to buy a ticket for. He didn't have it. He's like, I'm gonna do a GoFundMe. I'm like, bro, you're not gonna do a GoFundMe for $100.
Yeah.
Like, go wash some cars.
Right.
Yeah. Go cut some grass.
Cut some grass. Do something. He's like, no, like I can't work. I don't have papers. I'm like, bro.
Right.
Like you don't need papers to work.
Yeah.
Just work.
Right.
And sometimes these young guys, like, there's always an excuse for something.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to knock that, the next generation, but that got me heated, bro.
I know.
I went in on this kid.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$80 for a GoFundMe. Come on, bro.
But funny. I think that goes back to like you have to start preparing yourself to be the husband that you want to be. So like if I'm a young man, like I got to go work, and it might not be the job I want, but working at McDonald's for 8 hours a day, there's a certain level of responsibility that you build up, right?
Yep.
Like you got to start somewhere, and even though you might not be doing that forever, put in the work, put in the effort, because women are going to see that. They're going to find the work ethic attractive, right? Because I know I was not set up to where I wanted to be when I married my wife because I wasn't doing the thing I wanted to do. But she's like, man, he hustles. He's not doing what he wants to do, but he's working so hard at that. She's like, I can see where he can be one day, right? And I'm proving to her every day that I'm still going to be that guy, right? Like I'm still doing more and more and more to where we get there. But if you're just, for the young fellas, like the young bucks out there, like get out there and do it. Like prove to the women that you are the man that they want you to be, and that the man that you want to be too. Like you got to prove it to yourself too. You can't wait like, oh, I'm going to wait till we get together and figure it all out. It doesn't work like that,
Yeah.
What you think?
There's not much I can add to that. That was all gold.
Well, the right one will be revealed. I remember when I was dating before I met before Susie.
Okay. Which is a perfect name for her,
right? Perfect. If you know her, you know.
Yes.
So I at the time, like I said before, there weren't many girls at the church, and there was an older girl. By older, she was like 7 years older than me.
Oh, cool.
So I was trying to mac it. I was like, yo, what's up?
Some people that works,
Yeah.
Me and Laura are 6 years apart, so
I didn't say it, he did. So I'm trying to mac it to homegirl, and she gave me the runaround, and then eventually she goes, oh, I'm looking for someone more established. I said, oh. I'm sorry that I'm unestablished, but now she's like divorced, and the guy financially was not the best from what I've heard. Didn't work out for her, but I ended up meeting my wife, who I'll never forget. This is when I knew she was ride or die. I had a car at the time that every so often it'd overheat. And I remember one time we were leaving church, and she's like, hey, where are you? Where you at? I said, hey, my car's overheating. And I was kind of hiding it from her. She didn't know that I was dealing with that.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, where are you? Where you at right now? I'm like, oh, I'm over here. Okay, I'll be right there. And she went with me. It was like in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
With her friend too at the time. And they helped me get to where I needed to get to.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this girl's ride or die. She don't care about if I'm established or not.
Right. Yeah.
But she saw, I gave her, again, to your point,
Right.
she saw that I was grinding, that I was working, that I was out there trying to build my kingdom.
Right.
So it takes the right one too, you know?
Yeah. And 100% it's the right person, right? And her to identify that. Because a lot of women could see that and not even.
He's broke.
Yeah, he's broke. And he's working too hard. He's not doing the right things, you know? So yeah, good.
Yeah, a lot of women want the 6'5", Fortune 500 CEO.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're probably not going to bump into that.
Maybe
you will, but he'll be that in 10 years.
He's just 55 years old.
Right. Right.
And already married.
Right. Correct. Already married. But what I'm saying is like, maybe you will bump into that, but maybe you just got to grind alongside him, you know? I think the only thing that I could add to that was, because you said something, Joe, that reminded me of this, that what you do now echoes in eternity, right? Like everybody knows that saying. And I think like you said it, what you do now single, right? Or what you do in your dating season it's going to echo in your marriage. It's going to echo when you get into that, you know, that relationship. So I think, you know, surrounding yourself with the right people, consuming the right stuff. I remember when I was single, and I've shared this before, that I read before I met my wife, I remember I read so many marriage devos, and I wasn't even dating. It was way before I even met her. But I read so many marriage devos because I was like, man, I want to be a good godly husband. You know, I want to be a good leader. I want to be, you know, a good steward of my marriage. And I'm by no means am I a perfect husband. You know, I make mistakes a lot. But, you know, a lot of those things that I read in that season, I know are in me, you know, like it's, you know, the word says, what is it? I hide your word in my heart, right? So I might not sin. So, you know, those things I know are inside of me somewhere. And I know that whenever I need them, the Holy Spirit just, you know, pops them out. And, you know, it'll help me in a time of crisis or an argument, whatever problem I'm having with my wife. I just remember what I read.
Yeah.
Did you always want it? So I ask this to guys a lot because this was not the case for me. I didn't really care to get married ever. I didn't care to have a family. Did you always want that?
No. Nope. I was super against marriage. I come from a family that every marriage has been a complete failure. My mom and my dad, you know, my grandparents are legally separated. They're still together, but separated.
That's the old Cuban way, man.
Exactly. You know, they're legally separated. You know, and aunts, uncles, and all that stuff. Like, it's just so many bad marriages, bro. Yeah. And, you know, my mom, when she, you know, divorced my dad, just failed relationship after failed relationship, you know, until now she met my stepfather. Obviously, her and him, they're both pastors. They both have Christ in their heart and at the center of that relationship. So that is a massive help. But growing up with all that bad stuff just really jaded my heart a lot when it came to marriage. And it wasn't until I came back to the Lord that, you know, he put in me like, hey, man, like, we're going to get married. The one thing that he showed me was like, you got passions, my boy, and you need to, you got needs. So, you know, to get those needs met, you need to get married.
Yeah.
And anybody that's single or, you know, that has a desire to get married, or they don't know, I don't want to get married, you know, because I know people like that too, even in church, that they're like, I don't know if it's for me, sure. If it's not,
I'll be okay like this.
Yeah, I'll be okay like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I mean, I think the desires in our heart oftentimes are the desires that God puts in our heart, right? Those are the ones that he grants. And I think marriage is one of those things. I think when you have that desire to get married, I mean, yeah, you might be single now, you might be single for a while, depending on what work you put in. But if it's a desire that you have, God will grant it for you.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me. He put that desire in my heart because I did not have it at all. I was like, I'm cool if I don't get married, like whatever, I don't want to get married. But God planted it in me, and I was like, okay, all right, I'll get married. And then I met my wife.
I know I'm the guest here, but I actually have a question for you guys.
No, man, please.
We love
go
this
ahead.
part, by the way.
Because
this is the second time this happens.
I know.
Because I know so many single ladies out there that say there are no men out there
Yeah.
There's no good Christian men out there.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear that? Because that's
Oh,
I
yeah.
hear that everywhere. At least here in Miami.
Yeah. So you know
Yeah.
what happened at Metro when there was a bunch of young dudes and there was no ladies. We have the opposite problem.
Oh yeah. At
There's
our
a lot of young ladies.
That's
and
how it is now in our
dudes.
church, too.
Yeah, no dudes. Yeah,
It's
so I
10
hear that
to
all
1.
the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why do you guys think that's the case? Like, have you thought about that?
Honestly, not really, because I'm married. I'm good, but
No.
I think a lot of it has to do just a place that we're very culture based, right? Like the world, right? And I think we have a lot of new Christians, especially at our church.
Yep.
You know, I don't know how it is where but we have a lot of new people coming in all the time, and I think because they're so worldly based, there's a lot of demasculating of men, you know, and so their views coming in, the men are kind of broken, like really broken, and they're not growing up with the values of how a man should be, right? Like I think about my dad. He wasn't a godly man, but there were principles that he had, and I think even like a lot of people had that growing up as a man, this is how things should be. I think that's gone out the window because of culture.
Yep.
Culture has now totally taken out dad and the importance of dad.
And feminizing.
Right. And so even like ungodly people aren't getting that anymore. Like it's kind of gone away. And I think 100% true. We're getting boys at church that should be men, you know, like we're getting, you know, guys that I think about our 20s when we were going to church. I felt like, man, we were doing it. Like we were all trying to do something. We were hustling, but we were serving. Like I felt like our group of guys, I think about Eddie and, you know, Danny, like we were like those guys that were ready. Like we were ready to kind of do life and establish. I think it's not happening anymore. I think they're coming in weak and broken and nothing to them. I don't think it's their fault. I just think it's
A cultural thing.
yeah. 100%. And it's sad.
Yeah. You know, you mentioned a few good points there. You know, I've noticed that this is something that I sense. Maybe I could be wrong, but I sense that this current generation, could it be because of culture? Yes. Could it be because of the pandemic and maybe people's social skills are not what they used to be, and technology and all these different things could all contribute to this. But I also feel like spiritually, whereas men, we should be the head, there's a lot of women that are spiritually more mature than the men are.
Oh yeah.
And you hear a lot of women saying, "Oh, he's nice."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's a friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not really seeing the strong men that are willing to go be bold and ask the girl, "Hey, let's go have some coffee."
Yeah.
Like, let's go out. I want to court you. I want to date you.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that, at least in my bubble.
Man,
No, I mean,
you don't.
We were talking about that at one.
Pastor
Pastor
Matt's
Matt
huge.
talked about that. He was like, "Yo, men, like, text her, call her, like, ask her out.
Yeah.
Like, stop waiting for her. You're the man. Like, go do like." Because that's kind of gone where we were hunters. Like I think men are hunters. Like I think if we see something we like it. I went after my leader. You know what I'm saying? Like because
he did.
I did because I'm like, okay, girl. Like, but I think that's how we were. We, like our guys, we were like, we see something. It was so bad that we would fight over girls. I think.
Yeah.
You know, like
I saw her first.
Dibs, and it's like, bro.
Chill.
Relax. Right? Chill. Chill. You just saw her, okay?
Right.
Dude, we lived in an era. I don't remember how old you are, but like back in school, I'd have to call the home number.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Who, I'd like to talk to your daughter.
Yeah.
That don't like now it's just a DM.
Yeah.
Right.
It's different, man. It's different times.
It is. Social media has definitely changed everything, you know. And I'm so grateful because I didn't meet my wife through the new age way. I met my wife the traditional way.
Yeah.
It was at church. I saw her. I went up to her and I told her, "Hey, I like you."
Straight up like that?
Straight up.
What did she tell you?
Well, at first,
Who are you, creep?
Yes.
freak. Get out of here, perv. No, I'm just kidding. But it was at Alessandro's wedding in Puerto Rico. I went up to her and I told her, "Hey, listen, I like you. I know that we're friends. I know we have to be friends, but and I don't mind being friends, but I'm not trying to be friends forever. So, and you don't have to tell me you like me back. I just wanted to put it on your radar. I want you to know I'm interested.
You do what you do with that information.
I told her, I was like, you do with that what you will, but I like you.
It's like, that's nice.
Literally, no.
That's how she did it?
Yeah, she was like, okay. thank you for letting me know. She told me, she was like, you know, I don't know if I'm there, but you know, we can definitely, you know, chat and see and keep getting to know each other, and we'll see where it goes. And I'm like, all right, cool. Just know I'm not trying to be there forever. Like I'm here to, I told her straight up, like, I'm trying to date to marry. I'm not trying to date. And I told God that way before I told her that. I was like, man, I let the next one that I get with be the one. I'm not trying to go through the heartbreak again. I'm not trying to meet families again, have my mom and, you know, my family meet another girl again just for it to not work out. You get me? So and I thank God for that. And it was super uncomfortable, you know, going out there and straight up telling her to her face, hey, I like you. And obviously running the risk of, cool, bye. You know, because that for sure could have happened. I would have been devastated for sure. It would have sucked, but I would have grown and I would have gotten over it. But I'm grateful for how God had me do all of that.
Yeah.
I would never change. I wouldn't change a thing.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna go down a rabbit hole here. I guess it's like a spill session, right? Like, it upsets me so much now when I see marriage proposals being done by women getting down on a knee.
Oh my gosh, yes. Didn't that happen at the Olympics?
Oh my!
I've
seen it so many times.
I think it happened to one of the athletes. She proposed to her boyfriend on camera.
For me, I think like I said, it just all goes back to like, if they're not willing to like ask you out, you know, like what does that say for the rest of them? They're not willing to put themselves out there. What else are they not going to put themselves out there for? Right. Like, you're going to get rejected at stuff, you know, and it's just I don't know. I think that it's a big problem, and I think and I think that's all part of that demasculation. Oh yeah, 100%. And I think people like us, right, and maybe some of the older guys too, but I really think our age is the real key to unlock this. Is we have to start getting involved with the young guys, and this is the hard part, is they have to start being receiving. Everybody wants to be discipled until they're discipled.
Yeah. You hating on me. I love you, dude.
No, I'm going after this because it's important to you. Yeah. And it's so important because it doesn't edify me. It doesn't do anything for me. Mm-hmm. Because I'm good. I tell everybody I talk to, I'm like, I'm already married. My wife loves me. We're doing great. We're having sex. We're doing everything married people do. So if it doesn't work out for you, that doesn't affect me. But I'm doing it because I love you, right? Yeah. But I think we really have to get that back into, because I think maybe the older guys, it might be too much.
It's a big bridge. We are the bridge, actually. Right, yeah. Because we're at the age where the older guys, we have the camaraderie with them, but we're not too old or we can't, you know, but it's tough because nowadays everybody gets offended. Yep. You know, and we live in a day and an age, and I'm quite frankly, I'm tired of seeing it. Every TV show, every movie I watch. And listen, I love women. I have strong women. So like my mom is strong, my sister, my every woman in my life is strong and strong as heck. Like they're strong women and I honor them. But you can be strong and not demasculate. Right. Like, why can't women and men be strong? Like, why does it have to be like, okay, we need to make the father in the movie like an idiot? Right. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, why do we have to make him look like a weakling in order to prop up the ladies in the movie? Like, let's be strong together. Right. So I guess like it's harder for them to see. The only examples they see are these poor examples of men. Right. So yeah, like if it's gonna hurt, you know, to prune somebody, it's gonna hurt to call you out on your BS, but somebody's gonna do it. Yeah. And I'd rather it be me because I love you, than it be someone else that's gonna just mislead you onto a different path that's not gonna be beneficial. Yeah.
Man, so good. Yeah, it's so, I guess, scary, but also that's why I love my daughter and I'm very intentional with her, but I am super intentional with Judah. You know, I really want to build him, and I love that he's all boy. Mm-hmm. Thank God.
Yeah, he is definitely a boy.
He's dirty and everything that goes with it.
Loves sports.
Yeah. Let me smell your armpits, son. Yeah. Get that funk in there.
He's like, I gotta take a shower. Yes, you have to take a shower, bro. You're stinky. Like, so I love all that, but like, it's so important to me. You know, like I really, like, I don't know. I fear for, you know, the men are coming up, and like I said, some of it is them, but a lot of it is just the way we've cultivated, their experience. Like we haven't, as a culture, done right to them, and I think that's why I like what we do on this podcast. I think it's why I like what we do in our capacities at church. We have to, and this is like a call to me even more and more. Like, I know you guys want to kick me out of young adults because I'm 35, but I really
borderline.
Yeah, I know.
I don't make the rules, man.
Yeah,
I got a year left too.
35 is the last year. That's the cutoff.
Yeah,
so.
it is.
So
when did that happen?
I know. Every time I walk in there, they look at me like, "We know your birthday's coming up."
We keep an eye on
12 days, bro.
Yeah. 12 days. We're like, when was your birthday? All right.
Hold on. He hasn't had his birthday in a while. What's going on here? But I really feel so. I feel that pull to really help a generation of boys become men. Because our daughters will be affected by it.
Yep.
Right. Our sons will be affected by it. So. Yeah, it's sad, but I think it can be fixed. We just have to have men step up, and be honest. Yeah.
One of this, we were joking on the last podcast that I was on that I have my hand in different things, and one of the things that I've been working on is a speech, and it's called Move with Purpose. What to do when you don't know what to do, and it's geared towards young adults figuring out, hey, like, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do in this next season of my life? And I've noticed that, they really don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, they know they want to be impactful. Yeah. They know they want to influence. They know they want to make good money, but they don't know what they want to do.
Right.
And they don't even know the reasons of the things that they do want to do, why they want to do it.
Yeah.
And when I became a father was when this kind of was birthed. This whole idea of, hey, I want to speak to young people. I guess part of that is because of my kids.
Right.
But, you mentioned about your kids, right? And how you love them, but you're really intentional with Judah. People ask me all the time, how different is it with your son than it is with your daughter? And I say, well, when my daughter was born, it was an amazing feeling. It was my first kid. She was so pure.
Right.
When you have a daughter, as a man, you're like, this is such a precious little life. She's so pure. This is an amazing gift that God has given me. Yeah. I need to steward this.
Right.
And she's strong, just like your daughter's strong.
Yeah.
And I have to do the best that I can to make sure she knows her purpose.
Yeah.
And to make sure I don't dim that spark that she has. Because both girls are basically like their mothers. They're very strong.
Yeah.
With our sons, and I know I also have to be intentional because my son is more sensitive. Actually, he's more sensitive. With the girls, they and they. With my son, I have to be a little bit different, but I also want him to be tough.
Yeah.
Because with him, my feeling is not so much, man, he's precious.
Yeah.
Man, he's pure. It's more, man, I'm filled with pride.
Yeah.
When I see him, that's legacy.
Yeah.
So I have to parent him that way.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how in this generation we want to have a strong female, strong man, but we have to be careful on how we do that and how we cultivate these relationships because although we want our people to be stronger, more intentional, whether it be in their life, whether it be with their relationships and getting married, the way we portray that has to be completely different for the person.
Yeah. It's good.
Wow. All of that from that one question.
I know. It's funny because I'm like, I don't know if we're going to have enough with that question, but had a good stuff.
I mean, do you want to hit one more?
I mean, we could hit one more. We got to
hit one more. Hit one more.
Yeah. Okay.
Just be careful what you ask, though.
We don't ask that one question. I'll walk out.
Yeah, I get you. Okay.
Man, we just eliminated a lot of your options.
I know. He's so scared to ask a question.
No. Is that you guys hit a lot?
A lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys.
I think the one about the leadership one had a hit on that one or no?
Yeah, I mean, okay, cool. Let's ask that one. How should men approach the topic of spiritual leadership in marriage, especially if their partner is more spiritually mature than them? And I think, like you said off camera, right? That's an epidemic right now.
Right.
In the church, a lot of women are more mature than men, and we see it at our church, right? Like, I know we talked about that one couple, but I think you just see it even with the single girls, man. It's just, they are leagues ahead of the guys, man. I feel like only the young youth, shout out to all the youth at our church. Yeah. Those kids, just yesterday, I saw them. Shout out David Bolanos. I don't know if he watches, but he had a group of all the other young youth guys. Yeah. They were like, I think in a Barnes and Noble doing a Bible study. Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah. Right. Young kids, younger than me, bro. When I was their age, I was surviving teen pregnancy, you know, dodging it, you know, like exactly. I was like freaking messing around, playing with fire. Yeah. And to see them, I'm like, man, dude, those are going to be some great freaking dudes when they get older. Yeah. And they're like 17, 18. I think he's the old. I think he's like 19. Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough because, so we see that a lot. Yeah. I see it all the time. Yeah. And you know, the word says we shouldn't be unequally yoked. Yeah. Right. Even if we are believers. Right. 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 Yeah. As a man, and if you're in a relationship with someone who is spiritually more mature, it's tough because women tend to want to fix. Right. And we don't like to get fixed. Right. Right? We don't like it. Yeah. Right. Even our dogs don't like it. Right. So when our wives or our significant others are trying to call out the man in us, that's not their role. Right. Yeah. We need men in our life to call out the man in us. Yeah. My wife can challenge me on certain things. Right. Yeah. Because she's my wife. She has every right to do so. Right. But she cannot call out the man in me. Yeah. She's not a man. Yeah. Right. We need men in our life, mentors, pastors, whoever is in your life.
Like that iron to sharpen that iron.
Correct. So that's where it could get tough because sometimes women want to, I see the potential in you because they see things in us that we don't even see. Right. Because they are the Holy Spirit for us. Right. But sometimes they try to, with no like bad intentions, to call out the man in us when they can't. Right. Yeah. So that's the tough part of it. So what to do? It's tough because when you don't know what to do, what are you going to do? Right. Right. But if you surround yourself around other men, that can help you realize, hey, look, this is an area where I feel like you can really improve upon. Yeah. Let's sharpen each other and help you get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think 100% what you're saying is the road I was going to go down. I think the fix or maybe the avenue to take is that 100% women are trying to fill a role that they were never designed to fill. And so to that question, like if they're being the spiritual head in their household, what is the answer? Is that you shouldn't be doing that, right? There has to be a point where you're not doing that anymore. And you have to realize that, yes, there's going to be a fall, right? There's going to be a drop. But what has to happen is there has to be a realignment in the relationship. And I'll give you an example. Laura was way more spiritually mature than I was coming into church. Yeah. We got married unequally yoked 100%. Now we were both going to church, we were both serving, whatever, but we weren't there, right? Yeah. And our first 2 years of marriage was very difficult because she was doing the things I was supposed to be doing and I wasn't, right? And there was a lot of arguments because I felt like, I'm the man, the relationship, but I wasn't acting like the man. She was acting like the man. She would call her dad for stuff. And I'm like, hey, I can fix that. But if I'm not stepping up, why is she going to ask me to fix it in the first place? Yeah. So I think to a lot of this is everybody has to understand their roles, right? And there has to be an adjustment. If I'm leading this and I don't want to be the leader of my household, right? Because I think there's a desire for the woman to want, most people, I feel, especially in the Christian world, want their husband to lead, right? Yeah. And we see that. They're like, I wish my husband would lead, right? You have to stop leading. You have to create the void for them. And men have to step up and fill that void. Right. And then you have to be okay when they step up to allow them to do it. Yeah. Because what happens, and I've seen it, like the couple we were talking about, but a lot, like to your point, is that the man starts to do what God has designed them to do, and the woman's like, well, I don't like this anymore. Mm. Well, you've been begging for it and you've been asking for it. Now you have to let him flow. And there's going to be trials in trusting that your husband's doing this. Like you're going to have to trust that he may mess up, right? Like it might happen, right? Like, but I think it's that where there has to be a point where, okay, I'm done doing this and you're done doing this. and we're gonna have to start moving in our lanes. And it's difficult, but we had to do it in my own marriage. We had to, because it was just frustration.
Yeah.
And it's so true, because Laura is strong. She could have ran the relationship and we probably would have survived, right? But it's crazy. I'm even stronger. Once I got into my role, I'm so much more confident in who I am when we started to fill roles. And Laura actually is like, I'd rather not deal with some of this
she
stuff.
could flourish in hers.
Yeah. She's like, I'm so glad when we go out to eat, I don't have to worry about the bill. Because she used to do that for us all the time.
Yeah.
And now when somebody's like, oh, will you handle the bill? She's like, no, I'm not doing that. She don't want to put that. She would do that every time we went out to eat.
Always.
She would figure out the numbers and what everybody owes. She don't want to do that no more, because it's not what she wanted to do. You know? So I think it just has to be a switch. It has to happen.
Yeah.
You know, this is such a Geo thing to do, because I always talk about sports, but when talking about this subject, I always go to like things that I can equate it to.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, if you guys like the Miami Heat, so when LeBron came here,
Yeah.
right, we had two alpha dogs, like alpha males, right? We had LeBron, we had D Wade.
Yeah.
The first year we did awesome until the end,
Right.
and then Dwayne Wade realized, you know what, we're gonna go a lot further if I take a step back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt. I'm gonna have to make some sacrifices.
Right.
And can I lead? Yeah,
Sure.
I could do it. But for us to be where we need to get to,
Yeah.
Right.
I need to let this dude shine. I'm still gonna shine
Right.
in my role,
Right.
Yeah.
but I need to let this guy shine.
Correct.
And look at what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that when it comes to our relationships. Everybody has this I'm the main character syndrome,
Yeah.
right? Like the disease of me.
Yeah.
Right.
It needs to be about me.
Right.
Dude, we're just a speck,
Yeah.
Right.
right? Like just do your role.
Yeah.
And your life is going to be so much better if you fulfill your role.
Yeah.
Like my wife does things that are like, she does so many things better than me. I'm not going to try to do, like, I'm not going to get in her zone and try to do what she's good at.
Yeah.
Right.
And vice versa. Like there's things that I'm good at that she's like, you can handle that.
Right.
Right.
Why am I going to like infringe upon that?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if you want to talk about it, but remember when Pastor Matt's father-in-law came in and talked about the puzzle?
Yes.
You want to talk about that, or you want me to talk about
The puzzle. Oh yeah. That
about the piece, like
yeah.
understanding.
So shout out Pastor Grayson.
Yes.
He talked about once. This was during FamCon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Well,
It was the leadership.
the
The
leadership
leadership lunch. So he talked about how you look at a jigsaw puzzle, and in this jigsaw puzzle, you see grass, you see the sky, and you see a bird, right? And he's like, sometimes everybody wants to be the bird, because they think that that's the most important thing, right? Because he's free and he flies and he does whatever he wants. But it's like, do you know how important it is to be the grass? Do you know how important it is to be the sky? Because without you, the puzzle would be incomplete.
Yeah.
Without one little piece of the grass, the puzzle would be incomplete.
You don't even notice the bird.
You don't even
Because
notice the bird because you
piece
notice
missing.
the piece is missing.
Yeah.
You notice the gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to your guys' point, yes, you guys for sure have to fill your role.
Yeah. Because what happens is we're all trying to be the bird, right?
Right.
And then we never fill the spot that I was intended, and then the family's not complete, the relationship's not complete,
Yeah.
and it's because we're doing things that we were never intended to do.
Correct.
And there's going to be moments where my wife is going to have to step up because
Yeah.
like something's happening, right? Like I don't always take out the trash. That's my responsibility.
Yeah.
But like if I'm away, she's going to have to step up and do that.
Right.
I don't like, I don't always do laundry, but I'm gonna have to do that sometimes when Laura's off or whatever, So there's gonna be times for that, but we have a role and there's a purpose for that.
Yeah, yeah, and I like I said, I'm a rookie when it comes to marriage, but one thing that I do know for sure is that marriage is a partnership.
Yeah.
Yes, you are the leader. That doesn't mean, you guys have to be the same, but both me and my wife are leaders, right? And we lead in our respective ways, whether at home or in the church or whatever, careers and stuff like that. But, in practical ways that we're partners, it's like, for example, she cooks, I clean the dishes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll never let her cook and clean unless she offers. And I'm like, cool.
I'll take that one.
I'll take that one.
Take
You
away.
know, it's like, but, or like whatever, I'll help clean the house and she'll do laundry or vice versa, whatever it is. Marriage is a partnership, and there's no need for, it's kind of like you said, Joe, right now that, there might be times where the woman will step up and, and stuff like that. I think you've also mentioned this once. I don't know if it was you. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but that sometimes you kind of have to like pull each other forward. You know, like sometimes she's ahead and she'll pull you forward. Sometimes you're ahead, you got to pull her forward. And
I mean, the last 2 years, Laura's been pulling me to keep me where I'm at. You know, she had to keep me level headed.
Correct. You
and
know?
now I'm pulling her like, hey, I'm ready to run again.
Right.
Let's run.
Yeah. And even me right now, right? Like with the situation I'm in, you know, with my life, like my wife is the one that's kind of like, you know, pulling me a little bit, you know, nothing terrible, like, or lack of spirituality or anything like that. But, you know, it's in other areas where she's kind of like, you know, we got to keep the ship, you know, we got to keep the ship going, you know, keep up. She's checking in on me. She's like, hey, are you good? Like, you can still do this. Yeah, let's go. So again, marriage is a partnership.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think we can wrap up.
I think this is turned out to be a good episode.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Susie, don't kill us. Let him come back.
Yeah.
All righty, guys. Well, Geo, thank you so much for joining us again, my brother. Of
course.
We love you, bro. And guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some value out of this. Until next time.
Hey.